Hi there, it's me, Reed.
Hi, I'm Jennifer.
Welcome.
We're glad that you're here with us for a faith at home listening practice.
We're here to do our usual routine, as it were. Not as it were, but our usual routine.
It's just what we're going to
Yeah, we're doing Psalm 119, the largest, biggest, longest psalm in the Bible. But it's broken up into eight,
do. 22, 8 verse
eight
sections.
verse sections. Yeah. So we'll be doing Psalm 119 verses 81 to 88, but in your
Paraphrase.
paraphrase, thank you. I was going to say version, but it's not really a version.
It
I
can
guess
be a
it's your
version.
version, I guess.
It's my version.
Yeah. A paraphrase of Psalm 119, 81 to 88.
So that's what we call part E,
Yes.
because in this acrostic psalm, each of the sections, each of the 8 verse sections has an E at the beginning of each line of the stanza.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. When we do our listening practices, we follow a particular pattern. So we usually have our notebook and our pen,
Yeah.
and it's right here. And we like to make a few notes for ourselves that helps us to track, to pay attention to how God is speaking to us in the midst of an everyday, normal kind of practice. It only takes a little less than 15 minutes usually, between 10 and 15.
Yeah.
And we like to listen to the psalm, the section of the psalm, twice.
Yes. And the first time we listen to it, we're listening for God speaking to us by bringing something out in the reading, either a word or a phrase, or maybe it'll bring out a memory to your mind that is brought forth from the reading of the psalm.
And then we'll listen a second time and we'll cue you at that point. So you don't have to remember this. But at that point, we're going to be listening for an invitation, something to do or to be or become.
Yeah.
Would you read first?
Yes, I will. So Psalm 119, verses 81 to 88, in Jennifer's paraphrase.
From We Love Your Invitations.
Yes, that book that Jennifer just published. And it's the E section. E, letter E. All right. Empty and exhausted, frustrated and insecure. These are the signs to me that I'm homesick for my home in you, divine. Everything I touch turns to trouble. Everything I see causes me pain when I am disconnected from you and your way of life. Even when I make you my enemy with the thoughts of my mind, still you reach out to receive me and to plant your transformation in me. Ears, eyes, tongue, nose, and skin yearn for the signal that the hard times are coming to an end and that your freedom is being made real. Each ditch, each trap, each sidetrack could lead me to being stuck in the pit of despair. Embed your truth seeds in my core, and from those seeds, let beauty and growth stretch my being until new life is birthed. Edge out the fear, pride, and anger that threaten me. Protect me from being embarrassed by the taunts of liars. Evolve your life in me by your love so that your ebullience creates an environment of mutuality and kindness.
Thank you for reading.
What did you hear?
What did I hear today? The imagery of a life stretching or a person stretching so that new life can be grown and then birthed was what really stood out to me today. And of course, that reminds me of that space and time when our small children were actually fetuses.
Getting ready to be born. I remember those days too.
And my body was stretching to make room for them. And then finally they were birthed and I didn't have to stretch anymore. But I think our lives, my life, and the new things that God is growing in me have those sort of spaces that are uncomfortable as there's a stretch, change. as something new is being birthed, as something new evolves in me. That's what I noticed today as we listen.
Good.
What do you notice?
I noticed that section. It's even when I make you my enemy, the thoughts of my mind, which I was sort of provocative. So, oh, what? Ooh. Making God my enemy? This is talking to God. So that part, even when I make you my enemy with the thoughts of my mind, and for a second I was like, what? No, but it's true. I do that often. I get caught up in things and think God is, attacking me or holding me back or purposefully putting impediments in my path. I'm trying to get somewhere. Why are all these cars here? Must be God or something. I don't know. Sort of silly, but that's a very facile example. But that idea of making God my enemy, thinking God is against me somehow, which that stuck out to me.
Mm.
I hadn't thought of it that way before.
Thank you for sharing. As you listen with us, I wonder what it is that you notice. What stands out to you? Make note of it for yourself first, and then share it in conversation with someone. At this point, you've just watched or listened to Reed and I share what we're noticing. We haven't had a big, long conversation about it, but it makes a huge difference to speak something out loud. And in the safe space of out loud speaking, sometimes there's something that can shift and change for us. So just to pay attention to that and to find that space for yourself. And if you don't have an easily accessible, oh yeah, here's a person I would trust, and you feel like, oh, I could talk to Jennifer, I could talk to Reed, just send us a message and we'd be glad to offer you a helping hand and a safe space to practice listening to God speak to you. Mm-hmm. So that's round one.
There you go. Round one. Round two is we're reading through it again. Jennifer will read it this time, and we're listening for an invitation. God's calling us to something. Before you jump to the conclusion that it's just, oh, that's just my idea. I keep saying this every time, often when we do these things, we're talking to you, is that remember, we're taking for these things we hear, we're taking it as God speaking to us. And the temptation is to poo-poo that or say, oh, that's not God. That's just me. It's just because I ate something funny today or something like that. But we really want to encourage you to think of it as God speaking to you and take it from there. And then it's important to have a conversation with somebody, have somebody you can talk to. It helps you to figure out if God is really speaking to you. What is God really saying to you? It's very helpful. The community makes a difference.
Yes, yes.
You can't do this by yourself.
And that's how we can start to trust whether what we're noticing is our own voice, mm-hmm. or God's voice speaking, mm-hmm. to us. So important to be in the conversations. Mm-hmm.
So if you'll read it again, and we'll listen for that invitation.
All right. Empty and exhausted, frustrated and insecure. These are the signs to me that I'm homesick for my home in you, divine. Everything I touch turns to trouble. Everything I see causes me pain when I'm disconnected from you and from your way of life. Even when I make you my enemy with the thoughts of my mind, still you reach out to receive me, to plant your transformation in me. Ears, eyes, tongue, nose, and skin yearn for the signal that the hard times are coming to an end and that your freedom is being made real. Each ditch, each trap, each side track could lead me to being stuck in the pit of despair. Embed your truth seeds in my core, and from those seeds, let beauty and growth stretch my being until new life is birthed. Edge out the fear, pride, and anger that threaten me. Protect me from being embarrassed by the taunts of liars. Evolve your life in me by your love, so that your ebullience creates an environment of mutuality and kindness.
Earlier on, I talked about last time about making an enemy of God. And then the next line right after is, still you reach out to receive me and to plant your transformation in me. And that was the invitation, is that God is actually not looking out to take me down a peg, but rather reaching out to raise me up and to receive me. And the invitation is to accept that the God is reaching out. God's reaching out to receive me and to plant transformation, to transform me. That's what God wants to do. And it's sometimes difficult to grasp hold of that. So for me, the invitation is to reach out in return, reach out to God. God is reaching out to me, and I should reach out to God and not pass over that, just to remember and recognize that.
As you speak that makes me get tears in my eyes.
I noticed that.
Yeah. Maybe it hasn't come through in the podcast or in the video, but I'm an easy, quick crier.
It's true.
I am.
The kids are often saying, "Mom, why are your eyes watering?"
Why are you crying? Because I cry when I'm happy, and I cry when I cry.
Yeah.
It's one of the great gifts God has given to me. What I notice is an invitation is the word ebullient, and that sense, that image of God as excited, ebullient, overflowing with kindness and love. And so often my image of God can be very flat. Sometimes reading scripture, especially when I don't read it out loud, it has a kind of two-dimensionalness. It's just on the page. And so I hear God's invitation to see God as ebullient, see God as wanting to be in relationship with me at least as much as I want to be in relationship with God, actually way more than I want to be in relationship with God. What a beautiful invitation today. What do you hear as an invitation? What do you notice God, the creator, the life-giving spirit, maybe Jesus, speaking to you and inviting you to be part of in relationship with God?
Yes. We'd like to hear from you. If you can put it in comments, text, whatever, however you can get in touch with us, we'd love to hear from you.
And if you enjoy what you're noticing here in this recording today, these words come from a book that you can buy if you want to. Yeah. It's available on Amazon, so we'll leave the links below for you. And if you're enjoying this and you know of someone who you think would benefit from connecting to this sort of prayer practice, would you share this with them? And you can like it too, or subscribe, or whatever.
Yeah, all the different
things.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being with us today.
Yes, and we'll see you again.
Grace and peace to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.